Right, welcome to this review for the new Salamanders Codex supplement here. So it'll be a full review. We'll go for all of the units, points, costs, stratagems, psychic discipline, all those kind of things, warlord traits and so on, all covered here in this video. Thanks so much to Games Workshop for sending me a copy early and ahead of time. I usually get my Games Workshop stuff from gamingfigures.com, so you can check them out for 40k at a discounted rate. But we'll get stuck into this one here. I've always had a soft spot for the Salamanders. Lovely colour scheme. The green is very striking. Whenever I've seen them actually painted up and on the battlefield, they really are a great job. So, very bold, striking colour scheme here. So we'll go through some of the early pages here first of all. It's like a nice rich green, goes well with black. And it's the whole flames and flamers and so on is the theme for these. And you can build your army and you get rewards for that in the rules, as we'll see. Venerable Dreadlock looks particularly nice painted up with a bit of gold there, sort of a brassy gold colour used with these as well. So I think the small dreadnoughts here, I think the dreadnoughts look particularly good, the regular Space Marine dreadnoughts, and also things like the veterans, Stern Guard veterans and so on, with all the extra regalia look great also. So if I was to collect these, I'd pick and choose carefully which units look the best, but dreadnoughts are sort of veteran type models seem to look the best, even more so than Primaris, I think. But that's the companies here, the chapter organisation. First company, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then the seventh with the white pads here. That looks pretty cool actually. That one there. Talk about the armory, chapter command. So you see with the colour scheme here, the green's fine, but it's nice when it's broken up by other colours. This brassy gold colour, other colours going on, then introducing the flames wherever possible as well. Just adding that all together, I think just looks really good. Yeah. Hunt for Bile. Defenders of Armageddon. Again, the emphasis on flamer weapons. Cleansing of Uranus. The Torch Bearers of Lagos. Legends of Nocturne. Now fighting away against the Tyranids. There's a new Primaris model here as well for the Salamanders, which we'll check out in the rules. Adrax, Agatone, Vulcan, Hestan there as well. Not been resculpted, so they're keeping the original model. It's not had an upgrade to Primaris armour here, but they've got Adrax instead, which looks a fantastic one. If I was to collect these, yeah, a fresh modern take on the Salamanders, I would go for them. I would go for this model here for sure. Very, very cool. That unique Thunder Hammer he's got. No, brilliant model. So really nice. It's nice to, yeah, fresh Codex supplement, brilliant new centerpiece model. Excellent. Yeah, if I was to go for these, I reckon I'd go for Classic Marines and Classic Marine Dreadnoughts, and then some Primaris as well. Do maybe sort of 50-50. But I still think the Dreadnoughts look better. Yeah, really nice. And here's your showcase here. Yeah, the Storm Talon looks pretty good in green as well. But Infiltrators and Incursors, I reckon I'd go for some of them. There's the Eliminator Sergeant looking pretty good in the green also. Even these suppressors look good, nice actually. Yeah. That's how I'd build the army, just based on what units look good in that colour scheme. And try and make it competitive at the same time, as much as possible. Yeah, the regular dreadnoughts look nice, but they've had some extra work done on them. See here, more flat panels of the green. Here it's more of a, there's black been worked into this, and sharper on the highlights and so on. It looks better. Fielding the flame, just giving you an idea of the army. Really the main theme is just the emphasis on flames and flamers, so you'll see that pretty strong running throughout the units, especially the infantry units. Okay, onto the rules then. So, points values then, I'll just call these out now. Adrax Agatones, 140 points. It's pretty sensible, not ridiculous points cost. And then Hestan is 130 points. They're roughly the same kind of points. For Vulcan then, movement 6, weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, he's power level 7, strength 4, toughness 4. He's got 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9 and 2 up save. So decent enough stat line for him. Armed with a bolt pistol, the Gauntlet of the Forge, the Spear of Vulcan, frag and crack grenades. The Gauntlet of the Forge, range 8, assault D6, a bit random, so you can get a brilliant amount of shots, or pretty rubbish if you roll a 1. Strength 5, AP -1, and it is 1 damage. Resolve an attack made by this weapon, do not make a hit roll, it's auto hits. Then the Spear of Vulcan, +2 strength, 5 strength, 6, AP -2, and D3 damage. Okay. It's not that incredible. Rights of battery or hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by friendly salamander unit and starts within 6, pretty standard. 3 up in Von save. Forged 5, you can reroll hit rolls, and you reroll wound rolls for attacks made with flame or melter weapons by models with friendly salamander unit and starts within 6 of him. So that's really good. Reroll hits and wounds. Oh, hang on. Reroll hit rolls. Flame, it's flame or melter, I was going to say, because flame units or weapons auto hit, but melter as well. That's cool. So flamer and melter type weapons as well is the theme you're going for. So flamers usually if you're anti-infantry, then your melters as well if you're anti-vehicles and so on. So he's okay. Do like the rerolling wounds, that's pretty cool. Adrax Agatone then. Power level 7 again. It's both HQ choices. Movement 6, weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 4. He's got 6 wounds, brilliant amount of wounds. 5 attacks, the extra attack's really cool. Leadership 9, 2 up save. He's equipped with Drachis, Malleus, Noctum, frag and crack grenades. So the Drachis is range 12, assault D6, so quite random again, strength 4, AP -1, and it's auto hits on the target, damage 1. And the Malleus Nocturne is strength ×2, he's fighting at strength 8, AP -3, and it is 4 damage. Wow. And it's -1 to hit roll, so he's going to be hitting on 3s, unless there's some kind of bonuses to help him out. Wow, cool, this is pretty good here. So, gets Angels of Death, so extra, same here, extra attack on the charger if he is charged, or heroic intervention as usual. So potential 6 attacks. Yeah, brilliant. You're rerolling 1s for himself. So 3s to hit rerolling 1s, pretty solid and reliable. And then, 5 or 6 attacks is superb. Quite good smash for a vehicle in 1 round of combat then, with that many attacks coming through and damage 4. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by models for any salamander units starts within 6. Onto the anvil then, add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by melee weapons by models in friendly salamanders units starts within 6 inches of this model. So that's going to include himself as well, so I'm going to 2s to wound with his Thunderhammer. If that unit made a charge move, was charged or formed heroic intervention. But brilliant, +1 to wound rolls is superb. 4+ in Von save. And when resolving an attack against this model, this is for the Iridian Drakenhide or Drakehide cloak. Resolve an attack against this model, reduce the damage characteristic of the weapon used by 1 to a minimum of 1. So helpful to help keep him alive. Yeah, generally solid all-round character, great stat line, excellent close combat weapon, tons of attacks, and durable enough as well. Yeah, and a superb model. So exciting enough for Salamander players for sure. And for some Salamander players, you can have a nice collection already. It's just a case of maybe just buying that model and getting this book with all the extra bonuses in it and so on, and it's a complete refresh for your chapter, so very good. The showcase here. Oh, it's very nice. Real nice model, that one. So they've done it again. Games Workshop seems to be doing very, very well with these individual model releases that have come out. Excellent sculpting work being done. So remembering the theme then, sort of a Space Marines chapter that's flamers and melters, and it seems to be a chapter that's aggressive enough, that's happy enough to take the fight to the enemy with sort of close range. You know, melters are quite close range weapons, you know, range 12 for a standard melter. Flaming weapons usually sort of range 8, so it's that kind of close range firepower, bit of combat as well. So let's see if that can be rewarded here with these extra rules. The Promethean Cult, first of all. So this is like your chapter bonus. Whilst this tactical doctrine is active, when resolving an attack made with a flame or melter weapon by a model with this ability, add 1 to the wound roll. Nice, +1 to wound rolls with those weapons, so a major bonus there. If you're taking flamer and melter weapons. If your army's battle forged, in addition to the detachment abilities gained from Codex Space Marines in your army with the Combat Doctrine's ability, they gain the Promethean Cult ability so long as, with the exception of unaligned units, every unit from your army is Salamanders unit, or every unit from your army is from the Salamanders successor chapter. So, Tactical Doctrine is active. So I think you just get it all the time, as well as the usual doctrines, I believe. In addition to detachment abilities gained from Codex Space Marines, you gain that ability so long as, yeah. So it seems like you just have it from turn 1 all the way through, whatever the other doctrine may be. I think that's the way it works. But a big reward there for going for melters and flamers. Looks like successor chapters, and all the bits we're going to cover here: warlord traits, relics, stratagems, the psychic discipline as well, which will be fascinating to see that, and tactical objectives. Cool. So traits then, and Adrax Agatone is Lord of Fire, which is number 5, and Hestan is Anvil of Strength, which is this first one. So if you take Hestan, he's the Warlord, then it's +2 to the Strength characteristic of the Warlord himself. Of course, that boosts his weapon, which isn't that amazing, but that's what you get. Miraculous Constitution then, when this Warlord would lose a wound, roll a d6, on a 6 that wound is not lost. In addition, at the start of movement phase, this Warlord gains or regains 1 lost wound. Nice. This is pretty cool. Never give up. Start of the battle round, you can select 1 friendly Salamanders unit within 6 of this Warlord. At the end of that battle round, that unit has the Defenders of Humanity ability. We're actually granting troops to a particular unit. Tactically useful, need to try and remember that though during the middle of a game. Forge Master, add 2 to the toughness characteristic of the Warlord. Nice. Some pretty good ones here actually. Lord of Fire, this is Adrax's trait. You can reroll the dice to determine the number of attacks made with flame weapons. Right, so that d6 assault weapon, you just get to reroll it. By friendly Salamanders models whilst within 6 inches, right, so it's a bonus that's granted to others as well. Okay. Patient and Determined. Once per shooting phase and or per fight phase, when resolving an attack made by this Warlord, do not make a hit roll. It's an auto hit. It's just for 1 attack. Okay. So not too bad, but they're all pretty good, those ones. Relics then, it's interesting what relics can be taken. So again, remembering that theme of advancing towards the enemy, trying to get within flame or melter range to cause damage, and a bit of close combat as well. So let's see if any of these can help. Vulcan's Sigil, add 1 to attacks characteristic of model this relic. In addition, once per battle at the start of the fight phase, a model this relic can hold aloft Vulcan's Sigil. Till the end of that phase, add 1 to attacks characteristic of models of friendly Salamanders units whilst within 6 inches of that model. And the attacks characteristic of the model with the relic is therefore increased by 2 until the end of the phase. So yeah, 1 attack bonus for models nearby. Excellent. So just at the point you need it, then you can activate that. Excellent. Yeah. I'd maybe grant that to got some decent lieutenant or something in the army, then give him that Vulcan's Sigil relic. Cool, like a Primaris lieutenant, something like that. Drake's Smiter. Models with a Thunderhammer only, it replaces the Thunderhammer. It becomes ×2. Strength, AP -4 instead of AP -3, and it's 3 damage. Resolve an attack made with this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll as usual. And on an unmodified wound roll of a 6, it's add 3 to the damage characteristic of this weapon. So it's damage 6. Cool. Pretty good. So yeah, decent enough if you do get those 6s. The Wrath of Prometheus. Salamanders model with a bolt gun, a mastercrafted bolt gun. Only the relic replaces a bolt gun, a mastercrafted bolt gun. So you get range 30, rapid fire 1, strength 5 -2, and 3 damage. Some high damage weapons here. Okay. Interesting. The Tome of Velcona, for the Librarian. Model of this relic knows 1 psychic power from the Promethean discipline, in addition to any other powers it knows. When a psychic test is taken for model of this relic, is attempted to manifest a psychic power from the Promethean discipline, you have 1 to the total, so +1 to all the tests there. Excellent. Salamander's Mental. Resolve an attack made by model of this relic, subtract 1 from the wound roll. Bit of extra protection. Nocturne's Vengeance. So this is Combi Flamer replacement. When you choose this weapon to shoot with, select one of the or both of the profiles below. If you select both, it's -1 to the hit roll. So you can go for Mastercrafted Bolt Gun, range 24, rapid fire 1, strength 4, -1, 2 damage. Mastercrafted Flamer, range 12, assault d6, strength 4, -1, and again 2 damage. When resolve an attack made with this Mastercrafted Flamer profile, do not make a hit roll, it auto hits the target. Okay. Nice. Yep. Yeah, pretty versatile weapon, that one. The Helm of Draklos. Primaris model only. Add 1 to the wounds characteristic of model with this relic. Subtract 1 for the leadership characteristic of models of enemy units while serving 6. Okay, probably wouldn't really bother with that one, but yeah, there's a good spread of relics here as well. I like this, the Sigil. If you're going to play aggressive, that extra attack, pretty good. Now when is it? When do you activate it? At the start of the fight phase. Right, so it might be a case that you're being charged, but you can still act at the start of any fight phase, so that's cool. But yeah, I like that one. Pretty good. And if you're going to take a Psycho, pay the extra command points, take a second relic, the Tome of Velcona, to make a nice, solid and reliable Librarian as well. Cool. So special issue war gear here as well, just to give you some extras if you're going to go for perhaps a successor chapter. So Adamantine Mantle. When a model of this relic would lose a wound, roll a dice, and a 5+, the wound is not lost. Artificer Armour. It's a 2-up save, 5-up invuln. Mastercrafted Weapon. When you give this model this relic, select one weapon that is equipped with. It cannot be a weapon that already has Mastercrafted. In its description, add 1 to the damage characteristic of that weapon. This weapon is considered to be a chapter relic. Digital weapons, these are all quite standard. I've seen these before in the other supplements here. Model this relic fights, make an additional attack using the close combat weapon profile. When resolving that attack, if a hit is scored, the target suffers a mortal wound. The attack sequence ends. The Obsidian Aquila. When a friendly chapter model within 6 of a model with a relic would lose a wound, roll dice, and 6+, the wound is not lost. The Promethean Plate. Resolve an attack made by a model of this relic. Unmodified wound roll 1, 2, or 3 always fails. These are all repeats here of what's in the other supplements, irrespective of any abilities the weapon or the model making that attack may have. Dragonfire Bolts. When you give a model this relic, select one bolt weapon the model is equipped with. It's like a bolt rifle, for example. When the bearer shoots with that weapon, you can choose for it to fire a Dragon Rage Bolt. If you do, you can make 1 attack with the weapon, but if it hits, it's make d6 wound rolls instead of 1. Each successful wound roll results in a wound that must be allocated. Resolving that attack, the target does not receive the benefit of cover to its saving throw, and that weapon has a damage characteristic of 1 and an AP characteristic of -1 for that attack. Okay. I wonder if that can be improved with your tactical doctrines in play. Make it a -2. I think it can be. And then the Drake Blade. model with a power sword, mastercrafted power sword, or combat knife only. It replaces the model's power sword, mastercrafted power sword, or combat knife. You get strength user, AP -4 and 2 damage. So an attack made by this weapon, unmodified wound roll of 6, inflicts a mortal wound in addition to normal damage. Okay, stratagems then. And again, this theme of closing down the range, getting close. It seems like a concentrated attack as well with the Salamanders that's required, and melters and flamers. See if there's some decent stratagems to help this chapter out here. So Flamecraft, 2 command points. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a Salamander's unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. Until the end of that phase, when the model of that unit shoots with a flame weapon, do not roll to determine the number of attacks of that weapon. Instead, the maximum number of attacks are made with that weapon. So, for example, heavy D6 becomes a straight 6. That is excellent. And I know exactly what unit I'd play that on. It would be the aggressors. Give them all the flame weapons and then just max out their shots. And it's all auto hits, so it's a horrific stratagem, that one. Absolutely fantastic. You play that on the right unit. Utterly, utterly deadly. Yeah. And there's something satisfying about flame weapons, I don't know, just burning opponents out, burning units down, just tons of hits and loads of wounds and so on. Yeah, and if you're clever, you know, you play it at the right time with, you max out your hits, you hit the right target, you have the right tactical doctrine in play, you could be utterly devastating. And even things like vehicles, because you can plaster them with tons and tons of hits, a little bit of the AP minus on there, and then if you get the right character and so on nearby, extra bonuses to wound, and all of a sudden, even vehicles will be in trouble. So, to kick off here, excellent stratagem. That's one to be feared. The opponent will fear that. Should do. Yeah. And aggressors, correct me if I'm wrong, the flame weapons they have are assault weapons. So yeah, they can move, make an advanced move, and then still let loose with those weapons. Brilliant. The Crucible of Battle, 1 command point. Use this stratagem in the shooting phase when a Salamander's unit from your army is chosen to shoot or fight with. To the end of that phase, when resolve an attack made by a model in that unit, it's +1 to the wound roll. Oh, brilliant. So there's even that to add that, stack that up on top as well. +1 to the wound roll. So is it stackable? You've got a character that grants +1 to the wound roll. Play a stratagem that then grants +1 to the wound roll. Well, could be. There's nothing to say you can't stack it up. +1 to the wound. So, you know, in total +2 to the wound roll. So a 5 to wound a vehicle becomes 3 if you're adding +2 to the wound roll. Yeah, because you're not adding +1 to the strength, it's just the wound roll. So, you know, 5 is required, becomes a 4, then becomes a 3 if you're stacking it up twice. Brilliant. So immediately these two are excellent. Strength for the Primarch, 1 command point. Use this stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select one Salamander's unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the strength characteristic of models in that unit. Resolve an attack made by a melee weapon on that unit, an unmodified wound roll of 6. Double the damage characteristic of that weapon for that attack. Another superb one. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Oh, this is interesting here because these kind of cards, I'm starting to think, right, maybe I don't need standard heavy tanks and gun-line vehicles and so on. I could shift more towards flamer weapons, which is the whole theme of the chapter, and you can use decent stratagems to take on targets you'd usually wouldn't be too effective against. So your heavier type of vehicles and so on, start stacking these up and you'll burn them out. Brilliant. So these are all really good here. I think Salamander players are going to be happy enough. The Fires of Battle, 1 command point. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase or in your opponent's charge phase when a Salamander's model from your army shoots with a flame or melter weapon. So this is your Overwatch counter here. To the end of that phase, resolve an attack made with a weapon, unmodified wound roll 4+. The target suffers a mortal wound in addition to any normal damage. So you can stack up mortal wounds. So there's a bit of a counter going on here. So you've got trying to get close to fire, the ability for close combat, and then also another bonus for up close fighting is some potentially devastating Overwatch as well. Yeah, so you really are getting rewarded here for trying to build a list that fits the theme. And this is the great thing I think about these Codex supplements. Games Workshop are able to expand this out a lot more. Instead of just making a really thick Space Marine book, now they can spread everything out into these supplements. So I think they've been a great move. Yeah, really good. Okay. But I semi-think you probably would need just that. Maybe 8, 9, 10 stratagems, and then the others that are not very high impact, just leave them out and just have that. So you've got standard Space Marine Codex and all of those stratagems. Then just sort of a bonus page would be more than enough. But they've gone for a whole load here, but we'll see if any of these other ones are any good. So you've got Rights of Vulcan. It's 2 command points. Use your stratagem at the start of your movement phase. If the tactical doctrine is active, to the start of the next battle round, will resolve an attack made by a rapid fire or assault weapon by a Salamanders model from your army. Unmodified win roll of 6. So the arm penetration characteristic of that weapon is improved by 1 for that attack. So extra AP -1. Excellent. So you can stack them up. You can only use the stratagem once per battle. So just at the right point, you can really stack things up pretty good. Great. Despite the odds, it's 1 command point. Use your stratagem at the end of your turn. If a Salamander's warlord from your army is on the battlefield and you did not achieve any tactical objectives this turn, generate a new tactical objective. You're going to use a stratagem if the mission you're playing uses tactical objectives. Great. Yeah, useful enough. Immolation Protocols, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when the Salamander's unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. To the end of that phase, change the type of all flame weapons models in that unit are equipped with to pistol. Oh, wow. For example, Assault D6 becomes Pistol D6. Absolutely fantastic. So and again, see the theme here? Getting close with flame weapons, even to the point where you're locked in combat, you can still use them. So some superbly themed stratagems here. Excellent. Self-sacrifice, 2 command points. Use a stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select one Salamander's infantry unit from your army. At the end of that phase, enemy units cannot target any other infantry units from your army that are within 6 of the selected unit, unless the unit is the closest enemy unit to the firing unit and visible to it. Yeah, so you can bit of protection there for key units. Tactically, very, very useful. Trying to protect a large unit of aggressors, for example, something like that. Yep. Excellent. So I have to say, out of all the reviews I've done, this set here, they're all excellent. About one of the most powerful pages of stratagems I've seen. They're superb. Yeah, but if you already have Salamanders and you're looking forward to this coming out and so on, leave your own comments here as to the level of excitement. But I think this is pretty good. Pretty good. I'd be happy enough if I was Salamanders and I built a themed list and so on. These are superb. Next one then, Rise from the Ashes, 2 command points. Use your stratagem in any phase when a Salamander's character model from your army is destroyed. At the end of that phase, roll a dice on a 4+, return the model to play with 1 wound remaining. Placing it as close as possible to the previous position, more than 1 inch from enemy models. This stratagem cannot be used on the same model more than once per battle. Great. Another very, very useful one. Excellent. Vengeance for Istvan 5, 1 command point. Use your stratagem in the fight phase when a Salamander's unit from your army is chosen to fight with. At the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a melee weapon by a model with that unit against a Word Bearers, Iron Warriors, Night Lords, or Alpha Legion unit. You can reroll the hit roll. Great. Stand your ground. For 1 command point, use your stratagem in any phase when Salamander's infantry unit from your army is not a servitor and did not advance in this phase, or your previous movement phase is chosen as a target for an attack. To the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a weapon that has a damage characteristic of 1 against the model of that unit. Add 1 to the saving throw. This does not affect invuln save throws. Yeah, great. Yeah, so like a 3-up save becomes a 2-up if it's damage 1. Excellent. God, I'd almost go for 2 large units of 6 aggressors. Just send them in, burn everything. I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, and a couple of dreadnoughts crashing through and so on. You're starting to get an idea of an army forming in my mind here. Born Protectors. Use this stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. Yeah, and veteran squads landing in drop pods and stuff to buy time for the aggressors moving up. Something like that. Pretty cool. Born Protectors, 2 command points. Use this stratagem in your opponent's charge phase when a charge is declared against a Salamanders unit from your army. Select one friendly Salamanders unit that is more than 1 inch away from any enemy units within 12 of the unit that is the target of that charge. The select unit can fire Overwatch the charging unit as if it were a target of that charge. If the selected unit is a target of the charge, instead fires Overwatch as normal. In addition, if that charge is successful, the selected unit can perform a rogue intervention unit as if it were a character. If it does so, move it up to 2d6. It must then move closer to the unit that charged and cannot move within an inch of any other enemy units. A bit of protection for each other. Again, that kind of, well, you're getting in close, there's a danger of being charged and so on if you're going against a nasty army. Well, these few stratagems to tactically help you out in those kind of situations as well. But Born Protectors, very useful. Very, very useful, that one. Great. Relentless Determination for 1 command point. Use the stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select one Salamanders unit from your army that did not advance that phase until the start of your next movement phase. That unit is treated as having remained stationary during its movement phase for all rules purposes, such as firing heavy weapons. In addition, if the unit has a damage table, then until the start of your next shooting phase, double the number of wounds it has remaining for the purposes of determining what row to use on that damage table. Okay, yeah, useful enough. Exemplar of the Promethean Creed. Use a stratagem after nominating a Salamander's model that is not a named character to be your warlord. You can generate 1 additional warlord trait for them. This must be from the Salamander's warlord traits table. Right, so you can soup up a command here. That's really cool. Each warlord trait in your army must be unique, so you can't have duplicates. Master Artisans. So this is your extra relic. Oh, don't use this stratagem before the battle. Select one Salamander's model from your army that has the word Sergeant in their profile. That model can have one of the following chapter relics, even though they're not a character. Mastercrafted weapon, digital weapons, Drake blade, Dragon Rage bolts. All the relics your army includes must be different and be given to different models. And then the Trust of Prometheus, which is your relics. Use a stratagem after nominate a model drawn from the Salamander's successor chapter to be a warlord. You can give 1 relic of Nocturne to a character model from your army that's drawn from the Salamander's successor chapter, instead of giving them a special issue War Gear relic. Or a chapter relic from Codex Space Marines. If you do, replace the Salamander's keyword in all instances on the relic, if any, with that model's chapter keyword. Going to use the stratagem once per battle. Yep, so I'm saying any of those are useless. That is a fine set of stratagems there, for sure. Right, so this is going to be fascinating here. I reckon I would go down the route of taking at least 1 librarian, probably a Primaris. We'll see what kind of powers are available here for the Promethean discipline. So, Flaming Blast. So, warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 point in the battlefield within 24 and visible to the Psyker. Roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 3 of that point. On a 4+, it's a mortal wound. So, it's okay. You've got to get a high concentration to make it worthwhile. It's only 1 mortal wound. Not even like a 6 will give you d3 mortal wounds. It's just a flat 1 mortal wound. It's not that scary. It's only 1 dice per enemy unit, not model. Yeah, not very good. Fire Shield. Probably an fun, so we'll see. There's a warp charge value of 6 if manifested. Remember that relic, you're on +1s, these become 5s, so very easy to make them go off. There's a warp charge value of 6 if manifested, select 1 friendly Salamander's unit within 18 of the Psyker. To the start of your next psychic phase, resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon against that unit. Subtract 1 from the hit roll, just -1 to hit. In addition, a charge roll is made for a charge against unit target. Subtract 1 from the result. So a bit of protection, -1 to the hit roll. Yeah, useful enough. Burning Hands. So what charge value of 6 again? They're all 6. If manifested, then until the start of your next psychic phase, resolve an attack made by a close combat weapon, which is your standard like combat knife, I believe, by the Psyker. If a hit is scored, the target suffers a mortal wound. the attack sequence ends. Okay, so there's that one. Drake's Skin. Not too impressed by these so far. Let's see if there's any better ones here. Drake's Skin has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Salamanders unit within 12 of the Psyker. To the start of the next Psychic phase, add one to the toughness characteristic of models in the unit. Right, okay, so... Okay. Yeah, helpful enough, maybe even for a vehicle. Friendly Salamanders unit, yep. So, it's not bad. Fury of Nocturne. Warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 of the Psyker of visible to him. Roll 2d6. If the result is greater than the highest toughness characteristic of the model in that unit, suffers d3 mortal wounds. So against infantry should be pretty straightforward. 2d6 trying to get better than 4. So it should easily be able to cause the d3 mortal wounds. And even vehicles toughness 7. It's a good chance of getting that as well. So it's not too bad. And it could even be a character. Just has to be an enemy unit within 18 invisible. Yep. So not bad. Draconic Aspect. It's a warp charge value of 6. If manifested until the start of your next Psychic phase, subtract 2 from the leadership characteristic of models in enemy units whilst within 12 of the Psyker. Not bad. Okay. So they're okay. I'm not blown away by these ones. So I'd maybe go for the +1 to toughness. That's going to be helpful. And you just constantly just cast that once each turn. Something you want to protect a bit. And then maybe go for maybe fire shields, useful. So all sort of ones really to help. I was expecting ones that are going to burn the enemy out really effectively, but there's a lot of these are for helping other units. So the fire shield's pretty good, that -1 to hit. And the Fury of Nocturne as well. Trying to pick out enemy units with mortal wounds. So some of those. There. Tactical objectives, we'll cover these then. Promethean Creed. When this tactical doctrine is generated, your opponent must nominate one objective marker. Score d3 victory points if you control that objective marker at the end of 2 consecutive turns. Legacy of Istvan. Score a victory point if at least 3 Salamanders units from your army remain stationary in every phase of this turn whilst wholly within your deployment zone. At least one enemy unit is destroyed as a result of an attack made by one of these units. Okay, interesting. Weather of the Storm. Score one victory point if this tactical objective has been active at the end of 2 consecutive turns. Discard this tactical objective immediately if at least 3 Salamander units from your army are destroyed in the same turn. Right, spat durability and enduring. Some of these are quite difficult here. Gives your opponent a chance to try and counter these. Pretty good. Vulcan's Task. Score one victory point if you control more objective markers at the end of your turn than your opponent does. Cool. Look them in the eyes. Score. See that whole kind of getting close to the opponent or the enemy. Look them in the eyes. Score one victory point if at least one enemy unit was destroyed this turn whilst wholly within 6 inches of one or more of your Salamanders units. Score d3 victory points instead of 3 or more enemy units were destroyed in the same way this turn. And Fires of Nocturne. Score 2 victory points for each enemy unit that was destroyed this turn as a result of an attack made by a flame or melter weapon by a Salamander's unit from your army to a maximum of 6 victory points. If that comes up at the right time, you can potentially get a lot of points for that one. So there you go. And they're giving you a name generator here at the back as well, which is useful enough. So there it is. That's the review for Salamanders there. My impression is, love that character model. The new one that's been sculpted, absolutely superb. If I was going to collect, I'd go for him. And the stratagems, excellent set of stratagems for sure. Bit disappointed with the psychic ability, but there's some useful enough ones. So I reckon I wouldn't major on psychic powers for these. Just have one librarian would be more than enough. It's just all the usual for a Space Marine army. You wouldn't go too much into it, but I definitely would focus on aggressive flamer play with these. I think that'd be a lot of fun for sure. But that's the review. Check out gamingfigures.com. They do 40k and a load of other gaming systems all at a discounted rate. But thanks to Games Workshop sending me a copy here early and ahead of time. Don't see Salamanders very much on the channel, but we'll see if that can change in the future. That's the review. Keep a look out for more reviews on the channel. Thanks for watching and tune in next time.